Yo, musicians, artists, mixers, producers, what's up? Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about mixing, and in particular, I want to talk about, the foundation of a mix. And the foundation of a mix is balance. Okay, you're trying to get all of those individual, bits in a song to balance together to create like a really solid emotional journey for the listener, and that also represents the artist's kind of vision. Okay, and your vision. You're obviously gonna, have your hands on this. And basically, like balance. There's soft and there's loud and there's harsh and there's warm. There's a lot of different things and elements that can be balanced against each other and everything like that to create that final perfect balance. And what I've noticed is that there are a lot of tools in a mixer's kind of, tool shed. You've got your EQ, you've got your compression, you've got your time-based effects like delay and reverb and everything like that, and some modulation like chorus and flanger and whatever. And what I've noticed is that can be a bit overwhelming, can't it? And kind of intense when you're first diving in. So in terms of creating a really good balance, what I'm just noticing, and a thing that I'm going to start really, really practicing, is balance from the ground up. So forget about your tools, okay? And what I'm going to do, and what I recommend to you as well, is like open a session that you've worked on, whether it be a recording you've made or a band that you mixed, your friend's band, whatever. Open it from the bare bones of it, no plugins or anything like that. Forget that plugins exist, okay? Act like you're in the 19 whatevers, 20s or whatever, even earlier. I'm not sure when all of this whole mixing thing really started, but it must have been around then. And forget about EQ and compression as well, because they came later. Originally, it would have just been a couple of faders, Oh, turn this up, turn this down, and that's how you create your balance, just with volume levels, like a jazz band almost. And I think the really good thing here is like, yeah, forget about your EQ, forget about your compression, blah, 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 and spend 2 hours more just experimenting with balancing. Balance those faders, come up with a new thing, Oh, and use your pan pots as well. Like, I know that like pan pots didn't come till later, but include that. So maybe pan pots and faders, and just come up with your balance and experiment so much to the point where you can actually create a good mix, like a decent mix, without EQ and without compression, so that then you're not relying on these plugins so fucking much. That's the thing that, like, when you first start out, and I think even mixers that are like, really doing quite well in the game, they're just relying on these things too much, and so am I. So like, yeah, get a really good raw balance and get your ear really good so you can do that. Before you move on to compression and EQ, just be able to do that really, really good. And then I think the next thing is, wow, now you can graduate, okay? Now you can graduate. And now you can put EQ plugins, or vice versa. Maybe you can put compression in. Choose one. I think I'd go with EQ before compression though. And now you've balanced your track and everything like that, and you've gotten really good at doing that without any plugins. Now you're allowed to use EQ, and you can start using that for balance. And I think a really good thing to do would be limit yourself and say, okay, I can use EQ, but I can't boost yet. I'm not allowed. Set like restraints, like restrain yourself, okay? So I can cut. That's all I can do, because that's the big thing in this mixing game, right? You want to get really good at being able to cut rather than boosting, because it's going to make your mix sound so much better if you can cut really good. So get really good at that. That's your next thing. You add your EQ and you can cut. So the first thing you're going to want to do is start rolling frequencies off. Get rid of the rumble, get rid of that, and maybe in some particular cases you might even roll a bit of high end off. But then you can cut, like even a 4-band EQ, that's as far as you can go. Get really good at that. And then next, now you can graduate. Now you can use compression as well. And now, fiddle with your attack and release times. Fiddle with your threshold and your input and everything like that. And find out how you can further balance the song just by, squashing that dynamic range a little bit and everything like that. And always keep in mind, don't overdo it. Okay, almost approach the project that you have opened up as though it's a jazz band. So you're not aiming to like make it larger than life like a Chris Lord Alge record. You're aiming to you're just balancing it as though they're a jazz band, even if it is a rock band, okay? Just balance it, okay? Don't go too far. Get really good at using compression to, control that dynamic range, but still keep things alive and raw and everything like that. And then now you're ready to graduate again. Maybe this time you can import or we'll use like some reverbs and delays. Go really sparing on that and everything like that. And I think the really good thing here is like, don't do any like over the top routing. Don't have like your kick channels going into a kick level and then all your drums going into a drum bus and then everything like that. It's like, just have the plain tracks, not even a mix bus. And then once you've gotten good, then you can add your mix bus in, or you can add in your like your subgroups, like your drum bus and your guitar bus and your bass bus and your vocal bus. Go from there. Like, don't like restrain yourself and keep it to the bare minimum and get really, really good before you decide that you can graduate, okay? Stop jumping into the deep end so quick because you just drown. Like, that's the thing. Like, there is that kind of idea of jumping in the deep end can be really good for you. You grow up faster and everything like that. But I think in mixing, the actual thing is like, don't get me wrong, I jumped in the deep end and like it's got me here. So like there's some very good things about it. But maybe that's the thing, that you should jump in the deep end and go, blah! Compression, EQ, panning, balance, delay, chorus, everything like that. Parallel compression, blah, 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 blah. But once you've kind of jumped in for a while, get out and just go back into the shallow end and just cruise around and get, start from the beginning again and build it up and graduate. So the idea is there that like, if you were on a desert island and you just had faders, that you could do a good mix. And if you were on a desert island and you just had faders and EQ, that you could do a good mix. And then when you get compression, then you could do a good mix. You know what I mean? It's like, a lot of people, and I think myself included, is I can create an okay at best mix with all of these things. You know what I mean? But I want to be able to create something amazing with all of these things. So I think to do that, you actually have to get really good at just being able to use that, so that your skill with each thing gets so good that when they combine, it creates this really cohesive like relationship that is, obviously really good. I think have a go at that. I'm going to start doing that a lot from now on. And enjoy yourself. Peace.